I'm Ben Benson Bowe, and I'm a Call of Duty commentator. I grew up in the United Kingdom, a small town, or big town I guess I should say, Manchester. As a kid, ever since the age of like 3, I was playing sports. Basically, you name it, I've played it at some point of my life. But mainly that's due to the way I was raised. My dad always kind of had the motto of try anything once. If you don't like it, you never have to do it again. And I appreciate that because it taught me a lot, definitely about being competitive. From a very young age, I can tell you I did not like to lose, but it also kind of taught me about team bonding and how to work as a team, which is actually a valuable lesson, and I feel like you shouldn't underestimate how valuable that actually is. Video games were huge. After school, I used to play them, but even before that, I remember when I was, I think, 4 years old, came home from like kindergarten, and my dad was sat at the kind of TV screen, and he was sat with this weird looking gray thing. I was curious, I was like, well, what is this? Turned out it was an original PlayStation 1. And he kind of looked at me, smiled, and said, look what I've just bought, like, we can play some games together. I remember the first game was a snowboarding game. Many people know I'm a very competitive person through a lot of different aspects of my life, but even as a child, we used to have a whiteboard in our kitchen. And the whiteboard was different than what was in most kitchens, I imagine, of my age. It was actually time trials, and our kitchen had the leaderboard of times, and whenever I actually beat one of my parents, whether it was my mom or dad, I kind of got rewarded with, you don't have to do some chores, or here's a little bit extra pocket money, and eventually got to the point where I actually got pretty good. Really, that hobby and that love really started to develop at a young age. But still, it was the, I beat you, can you beat me? That kind of passion was just awesome.
A 244 to 134 game. Unilad still definitely trying to contest through, but in goes EG. They pick up the kills. They're about to reach 240 as well. 12 seconds left. They can win it here, and it could come down to Moose. The play hard right now. Contested. H is gonna fall. Moose could win the game right here, right now. EG, they have to contest in the final seconds. The greats come through for Matt. Moose falls, and now it's a desperation. Russian Scraps picks up a double, and Unilad take that one.
Call of Duty, what an adventure that has been over my life. Fun fact, yes, my original plan was I wanted to be a competitive player. And back in MW3, for any of the Europeans that happen to watch this, they may remember a player called Black. Fast forward about a month, I meet Black in an 8's lobby. Didn't go very well. Didn't go well at all. It's funny because I often now get tweets or I'll see people kind of talking a little bit about, I could do that, I could be a professional player. And now I kind of laughed to myself. I was like, yeah, been there, my friend, been there, done that. It's not as easy as it looks, it's really not. Black put me in my place so fast to the point where I kind of sat there going, all right, this playing thing, it might not be for me. Is there anything else I can do? And luckily enough, that's where I kind of fell in love with casting. There's no set path for casting at all. I wish I could give you one set answer. Everyone has a different story. For me, my story started back watching, MLG, whether it was Puckett, of course, casting, or Hastro and Fwiz. They were the premier duo, and I would kind of watch them cast, and I would be highly entertained. I'd be like, wow, these guys are great. So at that time as well was when Chris Puckett actually started doing more and more Call of Duty stuff. You give young me an opportunity to work with the legend that's Chris Puckett, who you've watched for years and years and years. Like, hell yeah, I'm gonna take the opportunity. It doesn't matter. I will say he's probably been one of, if not the biggest and best mentor that I've had throughout my entire career.
Really, the first time I got to know and get to meet Benson was at Call of Duty Championships for Black Ops 2, and he had such an amazing voice to him. His accent right away grabs you, but his energy is really what brought me in. And I got talking to him and just hearing how young he was, how passionate he was about esports, and I knew this is a guy that we can build, someone that really has kind of the essentials, the fundamentals already, and if we develop him, he could become a superstar in our industry.
At the time, Europe didn't really have too much talent. There was definitely talent there. Your likes of Tun was there, Rel was there, Brycey was there, even Gucci, old guy. They were really there. But besides that, there wasn't really much. So I kind of felt like this could be a chance for me to really open myself into trying to make this a full-time thing for me, which I can tell you was not easy. Everyone sees the glamour now of the lights, the cameras, the money. People don't realize, like, we started off in grassroots. Like, we were ballrooms, we were hotels. Like, it really was kind of rough coming up, where you would do events for free just because you wanted to improve. You wanted to give back to the community. You really wanted to put on the best show to grow the esports. So obviously, when you start casting, number one thing you can do is cast online, right? You cast your friends playing, which is something I did to finally, doing some events in Europe. And then that's when things started to get pretty good for me.
There's this one Optic Gaming player here. I like this play. If he can get up, he has done. He could probably just dolphin dive off the roof. The Optic player is underneath his snake shot. Where is Merc running heist? It doesn't even matter. Calls in his lightning strike, gets 2 kills. Replay shut down SCUF Pete.
Black Ops 2 was this crazy roller coaster. And I mentioned before, how'd you get into casting? Well, one word comes to mind, which is luck. During that Black Ops 2 time is where all of a sudden my name kind of started going across the pond a little bit. And kind of Americans started to recognize, oh, this guy he's okay, he's not actually that bad. Then of course Champs at that time, if for anyone that remembers, it was earlier on in the year, it wasn't late, it was almost like halfway through the season. Crazy period of time. I mean, you're talking 6 months from I'm casting in my bedroom to I'm casting Call of Duty World Championship Grand Final. Like, it's a fairy tale. I remember at the end of the Black Ops 2 season, Adam Apicella sends me an email. He says, hey, we think it's time. We want to bring you on full time. And I'm reading the email. I'm like, this is it. This is the goal. This is what I've been working towards. But then it hits you. I have to leave so much behind. My family, my friends, everything. About a week after I started at MLG, I got the news that my dad passed away. It was actually my stepmom that reached out and messaged me. And it was rough because I just moved to America. I kind of sat there and was thinking about all the positives, like, yes, finally, like a full-time job in video games. This is gonna be amazing. And then you get the news that your dad passes away. Immediately I was kind of, what do I do? Obviously fly home, but that thought that I wasn't there, could I have done something differently? Not having a chance to say goodbye. It's something that it eats you up. It really does. I think about my dad probably every day, and this was 3 years ago. And still to this day, I will find myself with a little bit of spare time during the day and something will come up, whether it's a little memory or just thinking, oh, I wonder what he would think about this. I wonder what he would think about my decision to do this, or something small. Like he was a huge factor in my life. He really was. And to to grow up without him, it sucks. When I lost my dad, it was like a big wake-up call. This is life. Death is one thing that happens in life. My mom isn't gonna be around forever, my grandma isn't, my sister isn't, my best friends aren't. So I kind of realized straight away, like, I only have my mom left. Like, I have to make sure that I have a good relationship with her. Like, I don't want anything to happen to her. Like, that was a massive fear of mine for a big part of time. So I would say, in a strange way, it definitely helped, because I realized everything that she'd done for me as a child and how grateful I was. It kind of all hit me at once. So I will do anything for my mom. Every time I see her, I make sure that she's good, that, I saw her at CWL Birmingham. It was only for 3 hours, but it made me happy. She was happy we went out, bought her lunch. Like Christmas, I bombarded her with presents, birthdays, everything. Just, even though obviously presents aren't everything, I just want to show her I appreciate everything that you did for me in my life so far. One of the biggest things throughout my entire career has always been, oh, your enthusiasm. And it's a weird one because I don't quite understand it. Because people often say to me, oh yeah, you're faking your energy. No one's that hype. No one loves the game that much. Yeah, I kind of do. Like, if you ask any of the people I hang out with, friends, like stream subscribers, viewers, anyone, they'll tell you I'm a naturally very energetic person. So, I'll be casting and crazy things will happen and my energy matches it. Not because I'm forcing it, just because I'm genuinely as excited as I feel like the viewer. I think it mainly comes down to, I spent years watching too. Like, I am a fan of all of this. I want this to grow as much as everyone else. And it's just great to watch. So of course I'm gonna get excited. Do I get overexcited sometimes? Of course, absolutely I do. But it's fun. At the end of the day, I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to make sure the viewers at home are having fun, because if they're not, why are they gonna watch? They're not, so Call of Duty esports won't grow.